Hi, we want to welcome both of you here to our mediation. I just wanted to go over a couple things with you. First and foremost, know that everything that's said in the room is confidential. This is a free space for you to share your thoughts and your feelings, and we're going to try to come out of this hopefully with the solution. If not with the solution, we're here just to facilitate a better communication between the both of you. And we're just here to guide you along this session, not so much to be involved. At the beginning, we're going to go ahead and ask some questions just to get us, get the ball rolling. But for the most part, we really want you to feel like you guys are in a safe space for both of you to communicate to each other. I just want to set some ground rules. We're going to give you individually interrupted time to speak. So if the other party would please wait their turn and let the other person speak on their time. Just so we can. All your thoughts individually are important, and I know you guys have a lot of feelings, and we just want to be able to hear everyone. So we're going to be able to speak at our own time. If you have any questions or comments on the way, please stop us. More than happy to answer anything. If you guys need bathroom breaks, water breaks, they're right behind you. We're more than happy to take a break in that. If you ever feel like you just really need a one-on-one session, we can do that too. We'll just take the other party out of the room, or have those individual sessions. And if we could just take turns while we speak and then listen, really actively listen to what the other person says, because they might have the same exact point as you, and we want to make sure we're communicating back and forth.
So let's go ahead and start with Mr. Milkovich. If you want to go ahead and get started with what you believe the issue at hand is and how it affects you.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Mr. Malkovich. You guys can refer to me as Mr. Milan. Just a little easier to pronounce. I know my name is a little hard. So I am here because one of my main concerns is, I live at this residency, homeowners association. I follow the rules. I've been here for about 15 years. So what I've been seeing is, I don't know specifically what he is within our home association or residency, but there is a male that is always in the swimming pool, and since I really don't know too much about him, I believe, I don't know if he's a guest or not, but what I have seen is that he does talk to Miss Hanson, which was a daughter of his. I'm not sure if she works there or specifically what she does, but I see them talk a lot. And sometimes since he does live about 4 doors away from me, I see his daughter and the guy go together in the house. I don't know what's the relationship with himself and that young man. So my main concern is that he violates, I guess, a rule. Since I'm only partaking because since I do see him go into the house of Mr. Hanson, and the daughter does not live there. The rule is if a person or individual that is either 12 years or older or in the 7th grade or older has to be accompanied by someone within our own little community per se. And I don't know, that bothers me myself because I follow the rule strictly if they're put. So I did write a letter to him, and I just told him, what's up with him or with them actually, not just himself, with them, not following these rules that we all agreed to when we signed our lease to live here. They've been living here for a while from my knowledge. I don't see why that all of a sudden when you bring in this this individual male, I don't know exactly how long he's been here, but I don't know. It's just brought up to my attention that I hate that they don't follow the rules. I don't know. I guess it's a personal thing, and it's also just following the rules. I mean, it's simple. It's a simple thing to do. So yeah, that's probably one of my main concerns.
So I see that following rules is very important to you. How do you feel that rule bending, perhaps in this certain situation, affects you?
I guess I'm old school. I've been grown up with if there's certain things that are put forward by whoever they may be, and you live within those I guess, circumstances, you should follow them because there's going to be consequences, and I just haven't seen a consequence come up for this individual, and I know that bothers me. What happens if I do that and then I get I guess a consequence, and that would be questioning my own, I guess, the board members of the organization, what's really going on.
And then, can I ask you, how long have you lived in the residence, and what has been your overall experience there?
So, like I said, I've been living in the residence for about 15 years now, going on to 16. And then you said how.
What has been your overall experience?
Oh,
like,
right.
have you had problems? Have you had a good time living there? What has been the overall experience?
So, I mean, I had a great time living here. It's a good community. 15 years is it's a pretty long, it's a pretty lengthy place to live at. I love the community. Like I said, I love the rules. I love everything that they have for us. But up to today, I really haven't had any other disputes or concerns with how things are run. Other than this, I'm just seeing like why is it that this person gets to do that while everybody else is following the rules? Just do what I have.
Do you play any roles in the community there?
No, actually, I have not. I have never been invited to any of the events or any of the meetings held at the board membership. I would say I do see, I guess, the manager now that has been implemented really speak concern to him, and I don't know if that kind of relates to why is it that they break these rules. And I'm just, I don't know if that makes a difference when I talk to them.
So how does the so-called relationship you say the manager and Mr. Hansen have affect you?
Just in general, to go talk to, the manager of what's going on. It's, I try to send them emails. I try to go to the office. Phone call him, and I get no responses, or he's not in. He's at lunch. He's doing this. He's busy, and it just seems like they're ignoring me for some reason, and I don't know why. And I don't know if their relationship has to play a part with that.
So your frustration is you're not feeling heard, and the rules are being broken, which you feel should be followed.
Yes.
So, what, if any, other instances of rule bending has there been in the community?
To my knowledge, I see everybody else basically following it. I mean, like I said, everybody has agreed to certain terms while living in these spaces, these dwellings, and this just came up to mind. But if a rule is broken now, other rules are going to be broken later. So this is why I'm bringing it up, early before it becomes something bigger than it
So to touch on that, why do you feel rules are so important to you?
I just feel
Or
really.
particularly this rule. Why do you feel like you have so much emotion behind it? Why is this particular rule so important to you?
So this rule, I don't know if it's. I would say it's. I guess really personal. It's just a broad. It's a broad thing. Humans kind of live by. Like laws. Like we have to follow certain laws. If we don't, there's gonna be like a major consequence. And from that, I guess I just take that into consideration. I use that example in everything else that I do or any other rules that are set by other people, especially in a living condition. Like, why would someone break the rules?
So for you, the concern is more rules are being broken, not that you have an attachment to this certain instant.
Yes.
And then touching on that letter, what did the letter consist of that you wrote, Mr. Hanson? If you want to touch on that.
So I just wrote him a letter like, hey, how you doing? I see that there is, certain things that I recognize that are not being followed, which of course are the rules. There's this male counterpart that is hanging around or knows your daughter seems to be going into your house, and I don't know what the relationship is, and I just clarified him to it, that the rule is, the importance of this in the rule was, that there's has to be a person that lives in the residency with them at all times, no matter what his age is, that. So that's like my primarily what it was about the letter.
Have you tried to contact, or have you had any interactions, if any, with the young boy involved?
No, I have not spoken to this young man. I don't see why.
Why do you feel like you haven't called it to his attention yet?
Just because, he looks like an adult. He should be able to follow the rules himself. I would even say, maybe when you're 13, 14 years old, whatever the case may be, it's kind of like common sense. There's certain things, regulations to be followed by, you should follow no matter what. Your parents kind of raise you that way, right?
So how frequent would you say that these rule bending occur?
So I've seen them occur maybe out the 7 days a week. I would say about 5 days out the week, usually. It's what I see often. I just don't see anything about it.
So are you using the pool concurrently with him at the same time? How do you know his schedule of his pool time?
So actually the balcony is kind of like facing towards the pool. So when I go out there, take a smoke or anything of that sort, personal stuff, I just see him there. I'm like there's nobody around that I know from my residency, with him or anything like that. That's the way I see it.
When did you first started noticing these, the rule breaking?
So I just recently started noticing, so I would say maybe around May.
Okay. And what caught your eye?
I would just see him walking by himself. And like I said, I see him with his daughter. I don't see anything else. I don't know if he lives there or anything, so that just kind of brought it to my attention. I was like, who is this kid or young man, excuse me, doing here? Nobody else knows him but the Hansels.
So it was more of like an unknown. You just didn't know who that was. It was more like safety.
There was a little bit of safety concern. I wasn't sure if this guy, is maybe someone if he's had bad backgrounds. I'm not too sure. There's other little children sometimes in the pool area. Even though the parents are there, I'm not sure what can happen from that.
Have you seen any threats from him? Any other rule breaking aside from this one, like any violence, any screaming, any drinking, anything that might light up red flags, red lights?
I would say not as too hard, but I do see him, use, I guess, aggressive movements in the pool. He looks physically fit. I don't know if that can be of a concern to how he facilitates himself around others. So that's just what I see personally.
Okay. Um, um, so to recap, you don't know if he lives there or not.
Yeah. I believe he's a guest.
Okay, this is a guest. Do you know for how long he's been there? So we're gonna say since May, since you first started seeing him in the pool.
We could say that, or we could say maybe at the beginning of the year, maybe January, February. I'm not too sure, but May is the case. Sure.
Okay. He's not following the rules. He's not part of the membership with the Hansons. So he's using the pool illegally because there's no one from their membership there with him. Correct.
Yes.
And you're not feeling heard because you constantly go to management reporting the rule breaking. No response to you. Can you tell me how many times you've contacted management, or in what ways?
So
I
since
think you touched on it.
yeah, so since May, I've contacted management about I want to say 5 to 6 times. I contacted them through the phone, through email. I even tried to go through the door, but they always hit me with that. Oh, he's at lunch, or they're doing other concerns. Maybe come back later. It just never works out.
Have you tried contacting Mr. Hansen in person?
No, I just wrote to him a letter. That's basically it.
Why haven't you tried talking to him in person?
I live by myself. I don't know, if the young man in himself might try to threaten me in a certain way, so I don't want to put myself in that situation.
So you're looking out for your safety.
So you are concerned about not only the safety of the rules and them not being broken, but the safety for yourself and your personal life.
Yes, ma'am.
So, let's see. What?
Okay. So you want them to follow the rules. Is there, I don't know if we touched on this, any other members in the complex that you see breaking the same rules, where their guests are in the pool?
There is guests that come with other members, but I always see those residents with them, so I don't think they're really breaking rules because they're following me.
So how has not being heard from management affected you?
I just feel like I'm belittled, like I'm a small person, even though I've been living here for so many years. I'm following the rules, I've been paying my taxes, paying my rent. Been, I guess, the perfect resident, and I still can't speak to the manager just for a simple concern. Now it's a simple concern. It's growing consistently. It's kind of irritating.
Okay, so you're irritated that you're not being heard, knowing that you've been a good example and a good resident at the complex. Have you had any problems with any other neighbors?
No, not up to date.
Have any other neighbors voiced their concern about rule bending when it comes to the pool? Any other neighbors have you heard anything?
I have not heard anything from any of my neighbors. There might have been. Like I said, there is. I guess the track record, but I can't even see the track record myself, so I can't really speak on that. But I think there has been a little bit. When it does come up, I guess it is fixed because after a while you just don't hear about it.
Mm-hmm. So the main thing I see here is the rules aren't being followed, and you don't see a consequence happening or a change happening, so you don't feel heard. You don't feel like anyone's listening to what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, then that's why you're here today, and this is what we're going to try to get down to. Hopefully you're being heard, and thank you for voicing your story. Give us a lot of information. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Just I don't know what that student is. Sorry, that young male is to him, but if there is any there is a fee a person can purchase. Um, if that is possible, maybe just person just a fee. I mean, it's so simple. Just if you're breaking a rule, and if not person me bringing it up, but the community, there is a fee. You just pay the fee. Why haven't you just paid the fee?
So you feel that there is a solution.
Yeah, there could be a solution to this.
So why do you believe they haven't paid it? They haven't gotten the fee?
I'm not sure on that. It's just, I guess they can just get away with things since he is, I guess, not related to, but knows the manager pretty well in the OHA board. That they just let it slip since. I guess,
So some favoritism's going on.
yeah, some favoritism.
Okay. If you don't mind, we're going to move on to Mr. Hanson. Mr. Hanson, welcome. Thank you for waiting so patiently. Now it's your turn to voice your concerns. I'll let you go ahead and start.
Well, Mr. Malkovich here was pointing out that the kid that I had with me, I think we call him Chris, and he's violating a HOA rule. Now, the thing is, we invited him because none of our children live with us anymore. They went to college and now. He just turned 18. And he's about to head off to college. Now, we are planning on housing him for 2 years, at least for community college. And the thing is, that's not as a guest. I don't see that as a guest. I see that as somebody. He's a part of our household, and I feel that he is part of our family too. And it's just. I keep getting the vibe from Mr. Milankovich that it's a more racial tone, that there's something going on in terms of exactly, why he feels the way about Chris. Honestly, I don't know what the issue is there, because the thing is, I have a daughter who works at the pool as a lifeguard, and she also teaches swim lessons and stuff like that at the complex where I live, and she's allowed to swim there as well, just because she has those privileges from working there. But I don't feel like I need to baby Chris at the pool because he is part of our household. And saying that he's a guest, that he's not part of the household, but he is. And there's something that says otherwise about that. Chris has only been staying with us for a month, so it may look like he's a guest, but we are going to house him for 2 years. I also sent out a letter to Longbridge in response to his letter, because I just felt it was really demeaning, and I don't know how a resident of our community could be so mean and just so unwelcoming. It's really offensive to me and to Chris. We don't want that for him here. We want him to be welcome, and we want him to be a part of our family and our community. We're not trying to make it hard for him to go to college. We want it to be an easy experience, and all this is about is the pool, in which I find is a really nitpicky rule for somebody to follow, considering he doesn't do any harm to anyone. He's never been in trouble. It's not like he was saying earlier about looking, a little muscular. If that's what scares you, I don't know. I can't help you. None of us can help you, because that's something from your perspective. And honestly, I don't know what his problem is with Chris, because I feel like it's right to be able to do that. I mean, he's a part of our household. And then to say that there's a bias because he thinks that I'm the manager in it and I have it in. Like, the whole HOA voted him in. It wasn't just me. So, if he's going to say that I have a bias, he's going to say that everybody in the HOA has a bias against him. So, that's the issue. I don't know. I don't think there's much else I can say other than that I'm really appalled by what he has said. It's just not. I don't appreciate it.
So, from what I'm hearing is that you're confused. You don't understand why the big deal is being made. Chris is an adult.
Yes.
He should be able to use a simple pool.
Yes.
And you're hurt because you feel like it's a racial. Now it's become a racial
Could it correlation?
How did you come in contact with Chris?
It was through a program. There's the exchange programs that are out there, and it's really. I believe in giving people opportunity, and I really wanted to. Bless you.
Thank you. Sorry.
I believe in giving people opportunity, and my wife and I felt, since our 2 kids had moved out, we weren't really doing that much. We could help somebody else succeed, somebody else reach their goals, and that's why I worry here, because we wanted to get out of a situation that might have been, sort of not as productive as it could be here. So I feel that this is a whole racial issue, and I feel like it could possibly make it difficult for him here.
So, you've expressed that Chris, or that you feel that Chris is unwelcome in the community. In what ways, other than this incident, or have there been other instances of Chris feeling unwelcome?
There's nothing really else. It's just a letter. It's so demeaning, like I said. It was sort of rude, and I don't feel like it really. Cause we read it together. It was just like, this is more than just about the rules. It's no one gets that upset about a rule. If somebody does that, if the rule was that laid out, and easy to read, it would be a problem. I would say, okay, all right. If somebody's not assigned a lease, then okay. But there's something that says that if somebody's not assigned a lease, they can't use the pool. No, it's that if they're a member of the household, and he is a part of our household. Chris is a member of our household, and I don't feel like it's necessary or to put him on a lease or to make him pay rent that he can't pay. So I really don't know what the problem is other than his race.
Going back to the program, I'm just curious. Is there a screening process that happens? Like, are you screened and is he screened?
We all have interviews with people who move into the community, with management.
Okay.
Of course, before when I moved in, it was a different manager. They weren't as effective as I think as the new one is, because there was a lot of. It's just the community has come together since we got that new manager, and we just really, I feel that it's really become a better community. But at the same time, I feel like this is really unproductive. That it's just sending me a letter that's just so ridiculous about him using a pool,
Right.
and that he might scare people away, or that he might be involved in criminal activity. That's insane. Please, that's unnecessary.
Was there any screening process for the community you live in, or perhaps maybe some of the residents of the homeowners association?
Well, that's what I was mentioning. Is that that's what I did. Basically, it was just an interview almost.
So it was just with you, not with anybody from maybe the board, or?
Not that I remember. It's just an interview.
I'm sorry,
We meet our neighbors and stuff going around anyway, so it's. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was actually talking about I was actually talking about the study abroad program.
Oh, the study abroad
Yeah, is there
program.
screening, like where the student is going to go and who the student is?
I'm not sure exactly on that side. I know they screen us to see what our history is and everything, and house them. but there's something like on their side
Okay. That you know.
that I know of.
Okay. And then touching back on the race topic, what makes you think this is a racial problem?
Well, he constantly brings up that he's intimidating and that he is completely, let me see if I can find before. He always comments on the race too. Though. He always comments little things like he refuses to say Chris's name because he really doesn't want it. It seems uncomfortable around Chris, and I don't know why. We haven't done anything to him. There's nothing personal at all. And all I want is for Chris to be able to get through college and for us to be able to help him through that.
I wanted to touch on your daughter. Has your daughter reviewed the rules or the perks she gets from work with you?
I don't know about the perks that
Is
she
it
gets from work,
similar
but
to
I
what
know.
you have?
I'm not entirely sure about what she gets, but she tells me that basically she's allowed to.
But you don't know if she's allowed to bring a guest or not.
To bring a guest to the pool, I mean, through her, what her work allows, I'm not entirely sure.
Yep.
All I know is what's, that Chris is a part of our household. He's allowed to use the pool. That's
She
what I know.
sees no problem with it.
She sees no problem.
Okay.
And as a lifeguard, and somebody who teaches swimming, that means something as well.
Right. Have there been any problems in the neighborhood with Chris? Have
No.
any other neighbors complained, or
Not at all.
has Chris maybe done something to offend someone?
Not
Or?
at all.
Okay.
It's been good while he's here. He's really happy to be here.
So is Chris aware that this is happening?
Yes.
Okay. So what is Chris's take on that?
He felt offended.
Okay.
That he was a little upset. Mostly, it was just that he was really confused as to why somebody didn't want to use the pool, even though it's part of the household. And I agree. I was like, I don't know why, because you are a part of this household. You are a family to us.
Right.
Do you feel that this has led to some constraints with making Chris feel comfortable in the community?
Yes. I don't know what Mr. Milankovich has said to anyone else. I'm not entirely sure. But from what I know, is that my neighbors are pretty friendly. I haven't had any problem with any of the other neighbors.
Prior to Chris moving in, did you review the rules with him?
Yes, I did. And we didn't see anything that would be an issue for him.
But if the rule clearly states when he moved in that somebody had to be there with him, he knew
But
that.
he is not a guest. He is part of the household.
But when he first moved in,
He is a guest. Well, when he first moved in.
right?
you know,
Because
that's
he's
one
first
thing.
moving in, so you're
Yeah,
laying down.
but
the
he's
rules.
obviously, but that would be only if he brought guests over. He's not a guest. He uses all the amenities that we use as well. And so, if he was a guest, then I would say, hey, you can't use the pool unless I'm there, or unless my wife is there, or unless any of the other homeowners are there.
Does management know of Chris's living situation there?
Yes.
Okay. And what do they say to that?
They're fine with it. They're fine with it.
They never mentioned buying him a membership or adding him to anything.
So you've always considered Chris a member of the household, not as a guest.
Yes, it's a member of the household because he is not staying there for a very small amount of time. He's staying there for 2 years. He is a part of our household, and if he has to stay there longer, we'll keep him there longer if we end up going to college, state college here. But I don't think it's going to be the case. So that's why I said 2 years because I felt like I feel that he has more opportunity if he goes out and is able to go to college somewhere else after community college.
So what do you constitute being part of a household? Just so we know your clear definition.
Just living with somebody for a long period of time, which for me a long period is more than 6 months. Although a guest, to me a guest is somebody who stays there for about a week or less. Honestly, in between is a little bit of a gray area for me, but this is 2 years we're talking about.
So I want to come back around to the manager. What is your relationship with the manager?
We just know him briefly from the community. We're not super close with him. It's just really, I think it's a really good fit for this community.
And how have you seen this conflict affect you?
For me, I feel like it's put a damper on us, really. I mean, I don't feel like it's safe to Chris around full because I don't know what Mr. Rockwood is going to say. I don't want him to feel unwelcome. I don't want him to feel scared. I don't know how Mr. Rockwood actually feels about it because it seems to me that he's pretty, racist, in my opinion. He always refuses to recognize him as a person. It seems like.
So what I'm hearing from you is you feel really uncomfortable with the whole situation.
Yes.
In part because race is starting to play a role in it.
Exactly. And that's what we try to, we're trying to make Chris feel comfortable. We don't want that to be something that
Why don't we take a 2-minute break so we can have you guys use the bathroom or have a drink of water.
Okay, so it's good.
¿Cuánto tiempo vamos? I mean, I came up with so many questions. If there's something, they just would come to me. It's great. Ready to get up ready to put them. Since you're too late. I don't know. Él nunca me pudo tocar. Where did you play? I don't know. Hmm? I have to like purple. But I didn't really get her. It's the reason. If your questions came to my mind, I feel like it's better if I don't look at them. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed your break. We're doing really well, I believe, hearing your each of your stories. Is there anything else you wanted to add, Mr. Hansen?
No, I just want Chris to feel safe.
Okay.
I just want Chris to feel well.
The safety is important. Has Chris ever mentioned him feeling unsafe? Prior to him let's say he didn't know this was going on. Has he ever voiced any concerns about living there?
And he was enjoying himself, going to the pool. He really likes to swim, that's one thing he likes to do. So, especially since he got here, he's always wanting to go for a swim. So we live in a nice community where it's sunny quite often, we wanted to take advantage of that.
And have you noticed any other neighbors having their guests swim without them being present?
No, people generally follow that rule. As far as I know, I haven't seen that happen.
So you said that Chris really likes to swim. So have you noticed any apprehension or maybe nervousness about him going to the pool now? I mean, does he feel?
Well, now he does a little less often, just because he doesn't want people with him. Just like looking down on him all the time. That's an issue, he doesn't want to be watched like a child. I respect that.
So is there anything else that you wanted to add? So I think you both did a great job. Thank you guys for respecting each other's time and really listening to each other. I think that there's a little bit of confusion. I think there's fear behind this. We don't want you guys to feel uncomfortable in your own home. So now we're gonna give the floor to you, and hopefully you guys can then communicate to each other. And we're kind of gonna take a step back, but of course still be. We're gonna let you guys run the meeting or the mediation now.
Well, first off, I just feel like I deserve an apology for that letter. I mean, that letter was just really over the top for just something that's involved with a pool. All right, for that sort of issue, there's no need to be as belligerent. I just think I need an apology.
I don't see why it is that you need such an apology if I'm just stating my opinion to you.
He's entitled to swim.
But he's not a person that lives here. He's not a resident.
He
He's
is
a guest.
a member of the household.
That doesn't
He
matter.
lives here.
He doesn't pay bills. He doesn't do anything.
He doesn't need to.
He does.
No, he does not.
It
He does stuff around the house.
tells us when we sign the agreement.
It does not tell you when you sign an agreement that you need to have somebody on the lease.
So, Mr. Malkovich, what to you constitutes as a member of the household? Give us an idea of that.
Somebody that brings in income, of course, and pays bills for the house. Someone related, blood-like to the person. I can understand if he was a guest, for a couple of months and he's just there, to live, then he will leave. But that's a whole different story if we go to that.
This is just an issue of race. Because he doesn't like him. He doesn't look like us.
To talk to him, don't.
I mean, he is a member of the household. That's the thing. He is a member of our household. He is entitled to swim.
So if he's such entitled to swim, why haven't you seen any concern that he brought up, not just to my attention, but to the whole community, so we know somehow, some way, that maybe he can carry, card or something, or some sort that shows, oh, yeah, I'm part of the community, or something, or maybe even in a meeting. Why haven't you guys brought me to a meeting? Like, what? These are maybe the new rules or something. I haven't heard nothing from you.
You're welcome to come to the meetings. We're not stopping.
I always try to come to meetings, but it seems like you guys don't want me there.
I don't know what we've done to make you not welcome there. You're welcome to be at the meetings.
I don't know what to say. Just follow the rules. It's simple.
I am. So is Chris. Following the rules.
So the rules seem very important to the both of you. You both seem to want to follow the rules. Is that what I'm hearing from both of you? You both just want to follow the rules, you're just not sure what the rules are?
I know what the rules are. I've looked them over, It's not that hard to decide for a guest, somebody who stays for a very short term. For me, is just not Chris. Chris is staying here for 2 years. It's not short term, and maybe more. Yes, that's not short term. It's a member of our household.
So you obviously both have two different definitions of what it is to be in the household. Is there any guidelines in the guidebook that say, like, it has to be someone on the lease, it has to be someone paying the membership fee, it has to be someone from this period of time living there?
There's
Okay, so not specific. So your main concern is that rules aren't being followed. What if he was a member?
Well, if he was a member, he hasn't brought up to any of our concerns. So, I mean, how could I tell him he's a member?
according to the manager, he's a member.
So how does that play a role? If management already knows that he's living there, would you just want to be in on knowing that he's part of the community? Because if management already knows that Chris moved in, they know of him, his existence. Obviously, when he went in and told them, like, oh, he's moving in, they didn't say, you're restricted to this, this, and that. Is that not good enough? Is there has to be another step? Or what do you think about that?
Well, like I said, I don't know if he's been implemented, for lack of words, into the association, and especially since he is, I guess, partnered or partnership with the manager. I don't know even how they've run that since, like, I have no idea what's going on. It's just rules are being broken. That's all I know. I just wish it could be fixed. If it's fixed, fine. If not, then you have to take it somewhere else.
Why don't you talk to him?
The manager is not partnered with me. He is agreed upon all the members of the board, basically everyone. And so it was pretty much a unanimous, with the exception I don't believe you voted for.
I wasn't even there because I was invited, so I didn't really have a voice on that.
The members all send out an invitation, though. You are always welcome to come in, and it's listed when you can come in. That being said, it's, the manager and I don't have it anyway. No. I mean, the thing is, if, for example, the homeowner is the only person that can use the pool, and everyone else is a guest to you, then I guess that means my wife is a guest because she's not on the, as a person on the lease, I am the homeowner in respect. So that would mean anyone in that community that isn't on that lease is not allowed to use the pool. So that's one thing about the rule is that it's just a homeowner, and that's a very big exception.
What do you think?
Adding safety issues. I feel you, since you guys know each other so well, it's a little bit, things are being banned, and I don't think it should be that way, especially when it's someone
That well.
especially when it's someone that I guess is representing the whole community. Why do that?
We don't know each other that well. We're just part of the community. Because, I mean, that's the whole part of being in this community, is that you will be a part of this community, and that you make friendships with the people in the community. Just because we're community members doesn't mean that we're that close.
What makes you think that he's close to Medication?
They're always talking. I overheard sometimes, oh, we should change this, or we should do this, and like it seemed like they're pretty agreeable with things, being changed or being done within the community without really, I guess, having us kind of vote or cast into what it is that they see that.
Nothing has been changed without a vote. Nothing has been changed. We have conversations sometimes about that stuff, but so does every other neighbor. We all have conversations about it because that's how we maintain the community as a whole. Because we are a community.
Doesn't seem like a lot of community because I'm not involved.
You
guys
are
never-
welcome to be involved.
You guys never tell me to go to this or do this. It's just like I'm a blank canvas.
When you
in this residency
first
from-
came in, we told you, or we at least gave you papers that said on it that we hold a meeting on the last Friday of every month. And on that Friday, we decide if there's anything that needs to be changed or if there's anything going on in the neighborhood. It's also sort of doubles as a neighborhood watch, so we have an idea of what's going on in the neighborhood.
So I'm getting the feeling that you're feeling a little left out from these meetings, and you feel that maybe he's not taking enough initiative to go to the meetings. So can I just ask, what process does it take to get like maybe a new rule implemented in the homeowner association? Is that like a nomination type of thing? Or?
Basically, it's a voting process. It's very standard, typical voting process. The majority wins. It's basically if it's things like prices or fees or anything, then we have to do a sort of super majority in a way, so like it's sort of 2/3 vote. But most of the time for things like for the whole thing, it would be just a simple majority of the people have to agree upon it.
So any member of the homeowners association can bring something to.
Yeah. And if there's any issues at all, we always address it within that month. We try to get to every single. Sometimes we don't always get to every single issue, but we try to. I can't think of specific examples in the current thing that apply to this, but we've changed some rules past year that about security issues and whatnot. So that's partially what we meet so often too, is because we want to be a neighborhood watch. We want to be a community. But going back to Chris, that's the reason why we involve Chris in this neighborhood, because he is involved with our community as well. We tried to bring him in on the meetings as well, so as long as his classes don't interfere with them. So.
hey, just simply remember the pool while we're, or I don't know, if you guys want, I'm tired of this, can we just, I don't know, try to set up like a board meeting? Everyone's included, maybe change these freaking rules. It's so bothering me.
Well, I'm willing to include mediators in our concept. I mean, it's not necessary because we always allow everyone in our meetings, but
So I feel like it's getting late, and I feel like our break wasn't enough. Maybe we need a day to relax. Do you guys mind coming back, and then maybe meanwhile contacting the homeowners association and getting any answers that you need, and then coming back?
well, I know next Friday is the last Friday of the month, and maybe we can include the mediation process with that. I don't know how that would work, but and so I don't know how the other members would feel about it, but
Well, what I was saying was that we come back at the four of us. Maybe you go to the meeting, you both go to the meeting, you ask the questions you have, you get the answers. We come back here, you relay those questions and answers back to us, and then we can have another session, fresh. I know we're exhausted, I know this has been a long process. What do you guys think of that?
I'm fine with that. I've done all I can to be as inclusive in the meeting as possible. I don't know what the problem with Chris is, because he is a part of our household.
So we feel like we're hitting a dead end here, because there's a lot of things that are unanswered.
I feel that.
Does this work for you, Mr. Milford?
Sure, if we can, I guess, set up, I guess, a board meeting with people, and really speak upon what rules are set, and I guess some need to be changed, then sure, and if need be, come back to this mediation thing.
Next Friday, 7 p.m. It's our usual meeting time, unless things are really strange and we have to change it.
Great, so we'll have it here that it's mandatory for both of you to attend the meeting next Friday.
Sounds good.
You both go in with questions or concerns you have. You'll hopefully get them answered as much as, as much as they can. Then we will contact you on Monday and set up another mediation.
Sounds good.
Uh,
Debrief. You're a terrible racist.
Debrief.
Oh my god.
I know.
I was like, come on,
How
press
long
me
have
on
we been
race.
here?
Or
We've been here since what time today? 1:45?
Oh yeah, one something,
No, when I'm like, why is I feel like something's in the air. I'm like, why is all the energy like draining?
I don't know, I'm
from
tired.
my
My
body?
eyes were like getting all droopy and dry.
And he's just like,
I was like over there just like,
I'm trying to look pissed off, but like,
Joaquin's like,
chill.
I don't even know what to say. And I'm like, say something.
I was like, you're just a terrible
Like, you guys
racist. I'm just sitting here going,
well talking to each other, and I was like, oh, cool, they're talking to each other. And then I was like, I just don't know what to say. I'm like, oh no.
Cause he
I just sit here being Mr.
No,
Welcoming. I'm like,
it's 'cause he-
let's sing Kumbaya, guys. And he
hit me
was
with
like,
with,
I don't know.
common sense stuff, like, dude, you're fucking stupid if you can't, like, agree with what I'm saying.
No, you're supposed to be like, no,
I know, I mean, there was a thing where I was like, no, put your foot down, I don't care what he says, dude, but I'm like, man.
You submitted too
I
easily.
submitted,
You're,
I'm not-
I can't even say you really submitted. You're just like,
I submitted to like a
You're very apathetic.
I don't think you mentioned like race at all.
No, I didn't mention race at all. I don't even know how. I should have said. I don't even know how you brought up racism.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever.
I know, because you didn't defend yourself. I was like, it's very racist. I was waiting for you to defend yourself, and it didn't happen. I'm like, oh, come on.
That's a huge racist.
Be mean. Say something
And
racist.
I got really
So how do you guys think we did as mediators?
I liked this one. I liked how you guys did. I felt that you did better than I did.
Really? I felt like I was awful.
You were alright. You got certain questions. You like, I guess, like you said, like, oh.
I swear to
I'm
God, I
like
felt like the
busting
Holy
out.
Spirit got to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, like literally, I wrote down all these questions, and once you would answer them, I'd cross one off.
That's what you were doing. Okay, I was
Yeah.
wondering. I was like, there's a
Literally,
lot
like
of
you were
writing
telling
gotta
your
go
story. With you, not so much. But, like, with you, yeah, it was like, because I was still trying to, like, orient myself. I'm like, alright, what are we doing? Well, yeah,
There wasn't a lot of
questions.
information on here other than the basic details. I was like, let me make something up here. And I just like kept going and going. You were just like,
I
It's
got
so nice to have two people though.
Yeah.
Now more than ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have loved to see like if this was our first one, like to see what we would have. But I feel like you literally need like 5 hours of sitting here.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. We
Oh,
could have
yeah.
gone longer, but.
Because I feel like we're exhausted. We want to do like the limit or whatever.
yeah, we're over our time.
You know.
come up with something we can all relate to.
Yeah.
personally.
Because this can be days and days. Now I get it. Now I'm like, because before we like, it took us 20 minutes
They
and
were
that's
like,
with the debrief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's like an hour.
Yeah. Well, it was nice working with you guys.
Thanks for coming.
I know.
Semester's over. Good luck.
What? You want me to turn it off?
We're done with the debrief, unless you want to like record our random ramblings. Yeah.
Where's the?
That little